Hey guys, I'm back. It's BJ from No Filter MMA. I'm back real quick. Just want to cover a dear friend of mine, Scott Butters, just competed in his third professional MMA fight against Kim Thinghaugen. And Scott took his first loss tonight, guys. And not to harp on Scott, because this fight was a little odd. And this is why I'm going to say this fight was a little odd. Scott was rehabbing an injury before this fight. He had to pull out of a previous fight because of this injury. And I believe that he has re-injured his shoulder. Something is going on with his arm or shoulder. Because this is how the fight went. It was the first round TKO stoppage, okay? And the fight was going really good. Scott landed some really good strikes and opened Thinghaugen up. So Scott was the first, half of the first round. Scott was definitely imposing his will. It was a good back and forth battle. But then we got to a scramble. And at one point they were up against the fence, and it seemed as if Scott may have been twisted in some awkward position or something. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the fight again, guys. I mean, I just watched the fight. You got to watch a fight a few times to really see what happened. But it looks as if Scott may have re-injured himself. He may have re-injured the injury that he just rehabbed. So, and that's always a huge blow when for a fighter, most definitely. Especially like I see, and that's what I fear may happen to Tom Mearns. It's either Tom or Richard. I can't remember. Those guys look so much alike, guys. With the elbow injury that he suffered at Bellator 200. So I'm kind of fearful that, if he doesn't take the amount of time off that he needs, that may happen. But Scott took a lot of time off. I just believe that this was just like a series of unfortunate events. Because this fight was going really well. He got Scott down. Scott was defending really, really well. Like, Scott was really defending well. He was blocking about 99% of the strikes that Thinghaugen was throwing. But so Scott turns over, reverses the position, tries to reverse the position, and then he just could not explode up. He definitely tried, but he just could not explode up like he really wanted to, because something was wrong with his shoulder. Something was definitely, and a lot of people saying that, this is Scott's hardest test to date. Some of Scott's other fights looked a lot harder than this one. Just putting that out there. But, this guy did have a lot more experience in the cage than Scott. But I just don't really believe that, that had much to do with the way this fight happened. I believe this was more due to the injury aspect of it. I believe Scott was hurt, and he didn't really want to show that he was hurt, but he was definitely hurt, and you can see it when he got up. But one thing about Scott is, as far as sportsmanship, you can't get any better sportsmanship than this guy here. I mean, Scott Butters is one of the best as far as sportsmanship. He always respects his opponent, and Scott hates the fact that when fighters miss weight, and Thinghaugen definitely missed weight. So, if for Scott to still, knowing how Scott is about people missing weight, I was surprised of the sportsmanship that Scott, had at the end of this fight. But very hard fought fight. It was a great fight to watch. It was a great card to watch. Just my message to Scott Butters is just keep your head up, man. Because this was a huge fight for Scott. If Scott would have won this fight, Scott was going to be catapulted up to possibly be, in Bellator next. But my message to Bellator is this guy is very worthy of, to be on your roster. Scott Butters is very worthy of the opportunity to fight for an organization like Bellator, because this guy is very professional. His skill set is just as good as someone who's got 20 fights under their belt. So, I hate to see that my boy lost. We're gonna try to get him back on, guys. Let us get his thoughts on how he feels after taking his first professional loss. But the thing about Scott is, Scott's told me, if you go back and watch our interviews, he's been on my show twice. If you go back and watch our interviews, Scott says, he's lost before. So losing is not something, you know, that he's unfamiliar with. He's lost in his amateur career before. So he's, you know, he knows how it feels to lose a fight. I hate that he lost, you know, so early in his professional career, but Scott will definitely, I would not be surprised if that remains for a very long time the only loss on his professional career, on his professional record. I would not be surprised, not one bit. You know, so, you know, message to Scott Butters, keep your head up, man. You know, let's get that injury worked on. Let's get it better so we can see you, you know, perform at the top. So whoever they throw in front of you, you know, you make quick work out of them. And Bellator, this guy is very, very worthy of being on your roster. Very worthy of being on your roster. So definitely do not sleep on Scott Butters. But Contenders 24 was a very good card, guys. I suggest you guys go back and watch that. But shout out to my boy Scott Butters. Is always happy to come by the show, and let's get the update on his injuries, and we'll get him back on here, guys. But anyways, this is BJ from No Filter MMA. Thanks you guys for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe.